Alright, BobalosRex here, and today's a lore rant. Now, it's a lore rant about prospects of 10.3, where I'm going to talk just about a final raid boss. Alright? I have been thinking about the zones, but I'm actually probably going to save that for a different video. But while I've been thinking about this, I think I deduced exactly what 10.1 or 10.2.5 is going to be. And that would be the part of the lead into what 10.3 would be. So let's talk about that. So what's going to be we know for sure whether or not there's a 10.3, we're going to get a 10.2.5. And a 10.2.7 will lead into whatever's after, how 0.7s have been. So the 10.2.7 would be related to whatever the next spot's going to be, aka also what the next raid boss would be, which is the main brunt of this video, who is going to be the final boss, if not Farok. Alright, so first things first, I feel like I've deduced what a 10.2.5 would be. I think it involves Viranoth and Rathian. We've seen them starting to team up and uniting the dragons. So, and I've now seen that the tier quest line is still ongoing. Alright, I am here on the PTR, so keep that in mind. So I think we all saved the tree. I don't think we're gonna have another flamed up tree. I think that'd be a bit too much. So I think we get this big win in 10.2. 10.2.5 is reuniting the dragons. The tier quest line finishes. The Alexstrasza Mother Oath Stone stuff maybe finally gets solved. And it will be a time where it's like, yay, we're doing happy stuff. It's good stuff. Viranoth and Alexstrasza are friends now. Maybe this is when Tyr comes back. Maybe we get more lead up. And then 10.2.7 would be when stuff starts happening. Alright, and if there's a 10.3, I got 5 names on my list of bosses. Alright, some I think are more likely, and others less likely, but I have a conspiracy about others. So let's talk about the most likely, obvious one in the room. And this is going independent of what people want, independent of what I want, independent of what I think. This is the one that I think could be most likely, and it's Iridikron. Iridikron is up there. I think he could be highly likely as the final boss. He was set up in the first patch. He could be a final boss above Farok. Alright, you see the dragons all unite to fight him. He's voided up. You know, in the 10.2.5 patch, we team up with Viranoth. We get a Viranoth Proto-Drake skin. Alright, we'll have the Fyrak one. We already have the Razageth one. We'll have the Viranoth one. And then we get Iridikron. Full circle, all the Primal Incarnates on our Proto-Drake skin. Bada boom. Alright, tie it up with a nice little bow. You fight Void Iridikron. Then it sets up the Void expansion. Alright. Okay. That could be a 10.3. I could see Iridikron as the final boss of 10.3. Now, it could also go another way, because I've also thought about this. And this I also think is highly likely, and one I want more than the Iridikron one. I think Iridikron in the Void could be a next expansion, and we get his Drake skin then. or as a full mount. Like, I do want all the Proto Drake incarnate forms as Drake customizations, but I can wait. So, who could be the final boss if not a Ridicron? Galakron. Alright? Frickin' Galakron. I've wanted Galakron as a full fight so bad. And I think this dragons uniting all together, all the forces, all the different dragon flights uniting, Mother Oathstone in charge, new aspects, more aspects, you know, maybe it's like a new thing, maybe it's a new called thing, but all the stones are activated and the dragons get powered up again. Maybe not with order, like I just said, just to power up. Or it's like a choice, like, I think the Alexstrasza of Virnoth stuff will unite dragons. Now, that leads into 10.3. Ridicron's got the hunger. He's still involved, and he just goes, yo, I know where Galakron died. Takes the hunger. Boop. Zombie Galakron. You will hear Galakron mentioned again in another one, but I can see Galakron being a final fight, just being like, we gotta stop him again. Tyr, all the dragons unite, and us, we beat Galakron again. In a big Northrend, like, it would tie back to Northrend, but again, I'll talk about possible zone stuff probably in another video, because I don't know where the Iridicron would be. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the zones, too. Let's get it all out the way. So, Iridicron, that raid for Iridicron... You know what? No, I will save it for later, because I can't think of, like, the... I'll do the zone and raid together as a thing. But I'll still stick with my final bosses. So, yeah, Galakron's back. Maybe revamped Northrend, or just a phased Northrend. You know, but Galakron as a final boss, I think would be cool. Alright. Next up. Now, this one also plays off the return of Tyr. And this has Tyr coming back and being like, oh, snap. Times have changed. Here, let me call up Odin. And then Odin hears what's been going on, and, like, these dragons are a menace. And we need to stop them. Odin is tilted for some reason. And he just goes off. And we have Odin round 3. And we actually kill him. That's like a fan. That's a I want that. I want to beat up Odin. I hate him. And I think that'd be cool. I'm not fully fleshed out how that would go down. Like, I don't see Tyr... At this point, I don't see Tyr going bad, but that would be wild, right? Now we're starting to get into conspiracy stuff. Like, Tyr comes back and is like, these freaking dragons, I don't like them. Or it comes to a head where Alexstrasza is like, hey, I didn't like what you did. And then Tyr's like, how dare you? I've been experimenting on dragons all this time because you had that secret Tyr lab. You had all this stuff. You have him at least reporting to Odin whether or not he agreed with Odin. Or you have him like call up Odin and say, yeah, the dragons are doing good. Or Odin just sees what's going on and is like, okay, we got to deal with this stuff. Like, Odin lost his shit. He's angry. And he lashes out, and Tyr stands beside us against him, because he probably didn't like Odin. Where this would take place, again, that's why I haven't really fleshed out the zones and raids. But I'm just thinking about final bosses to go above Farok. Like, a big Odin fight could be good. Even though we fought him a couple times and we would actually kill him. But I mean, in Mythic, you pretty much beat him all the way dead. You know? But it would be a different aesthetic, like Halls of Valor full raid, maybe we see like the full Halls of Valor, unless that was the full Halls of Valor, and then it'd be weird for warriors. Like the Odin thing, is hard to flesh out, but he could be a final boss. Alright, I've also thought of that. I know Taliesin did a video on that, including him. He could be there. But that one, you kind of have to thread some weird needles to get there. So that's why it's more conspiracy. But now we're getting into my personal crazy conspiracies. And the Odin thing would lead into an order, like a weird order expansion where we're fighting the Titans. I don't think we'll ever fight the Titans. We met the Titans, we hung out with the Titans. But something like that, you know, you got the Hearthstone thing going on. People want to see Titan stuff. Maybe we're buddying up with the Titans. The Return of the Titans. Maybe Odin comes here to fight Iridikron and is also causing drama, and then we fight Odin. Corrupt. I don't know. Now I'm getting too crazy with this, so let's pull it back. Let's talk about my last two final boss theories. Alright? Remember, the first two are the ones that make most sense to me, by the way. What I talked about before all this is what I actually think. Now we're getting into craziness, alright? So, let's talk about my Murazond theory. I think Murazond is the Norsdormu we're talking about right now. I think he's Murazond. Alright? And I think... Or, hold on. He's either Murazond and he's going to betray us soon, or he is the real Norsdormu. Murazond is still, like, incoming. And either the Norsdormu right now is putting pieces into play to stop the Murazond, or Norsdormu had already put specific pieces in play, like the Drakthir, like Chromie and stuff, to prevent the Murazond transformation, or to help us stop when Murazond comes back. I know we've already fought Murazond before, but he was, in my opinion, he was underused, and I think we could see Murazond infinite. Like, I know he is the infinite, but like a souped up Murazond, and we have a whole timey-wimey raid, right? The Mega Dungeon is good, but it didn't have as much time travel as I would have liked. I would love to see a time travel raid, where, like, we even have seen the Infinites and the Bronze team up currently, and that's what makes me think maybe we are working with Murazond right now, and he's like, yes, come to me. I'm right, guys. And then do like a big reveal like, ha ha ha, I was Murazond all along. And then he's about to do his like big plan, but then Norsdormu walks out and he's like, I knew what you were doing. Drakthir, do the thing. And then that allows us to stop the Murazond timey-wimey stuff. And then we see that play out in the raid. And we have Time Rifts V2 maybe out in the world. Again, I haven't worked on the zone stuff. I'll probably work on that for each of these for next week's video on Sunday. And we have a timey-wimey raid with Murazond at the end, but it's like a souped-up Murazond. And then at the end of that fight, that Murazond gets launched into the end time, weakened with the hourglass that he had, but he's weakened. He gets launched back with our Norsdormu, or, well, forward then, but back to the Cataclysm, so that he is then defeated in Cataclysm by us. Because remember, we've had those... Maybe we have already done that. Because remember those quest lines where we fought with Future Us? Maybe we've already fulfilled that, but I think it would be cool to fill in the Future Us thing for something like that. Because I know we had to, for the quest line there, a Future Us helped past us. But now I'm thinking maybe we already did fulfill that. But I think that would be cool. So it'd be a timey-wimey raid with Murazond at the end. And it'd be a real conclusion to the Infinites. and it would play off of either us being fooled by Murazan or Murazan coming back. Alright? But I would love to see Norse Dormu flip it on him like some timey-wimey Doctor Who thing. Like when Doctor Who faked his death or whatever he did. I remember that. That was good. In my opinion. Now, here's my new crazy fringe theory. Here's my final crazy fringe theory. The Elemental Lord's coming back. Now, I put here just Ragnaros, right? Because we saw the Ragnaros stuff. I've been on a Ragnaros kick. We had the Ragnaros portal that you can go in, and we couldn't see that. But now that I thought about it, it couldn't just be him. And it reminded me of the stuff I was thinking with Magatha, Grim Totem, and the Doomstone. And the zone idea I thought of is, imagine like an elemental nexus where it's got like all the things, and then the raid and the final boss is the elemental lords, like all 4 of them. Imagine a final boss where it's 4, like a council end boss, and it's got Ragnaros reborn pulling out his legs, like already like legged up, like no, I'm not in a thing anymore. You got Therazane, mad, like, I'm done with this. Iridikron talked to me, and I'm freaking pissed. I'm busting out. Or it's corrupted Therazane, and Iridikron had something to do with it too. Then you got Thunderon, who you're like, why would he team up with Ragnaros? Well, guess what? Ragnaros helped bring his father back. Alakir return. So you got Ragnaros reborn, Alakir reborn, and Thunderon is another boss, like before, like earlier in the raid. You got Therazane and Neptulon. Maybe Neptulon's the only one, like, fuck y'all. I'm not attacking the people. I just want to go chill. I got freaking snake people, the Naga, fighting me. I'm not teaming up with y'all. Or maybe he finally gets corrupted and it's Neptulon freaking gooed up with Azumat. And this leads into an elemental Void God expansion. Not Void God, Void Lord. Well, maybe not full Void, just Old God's Return. You know? Because you got Vosh working with... I think Vosh is working with the Void still. Not Vosh. Ashara. You know, her working with the Void again. So, to me, you could see, like I said, a big elemental thing locked up, and then all the elemental lords, and the final boss fight be a council fight against the elemental lords. That would be wild. That is my craziest fringe theory, and the least likely in my mind. Because remember, we started with most likely, and we got to crazy, where we're at right now. But who knows? But yeah, I had it involving Magatha and the Doomstone, and I imagine like a collective zone, like a Zereth Mortis, but it's like the 4 different elemental zones merged into like this Nexus area. You know? But again, I'll talk about zones more in another video. This one's already gone on long enough. I want to hit under 20 minutes, usually. I found out that's an algorithm thing. But yeah, that's what I think for the final bosses. I'll go down the list for most likely. I got Iridikron and Galakrond tied. You know? Iridikron could be the final boss.
Natural tide rises and brings with it danger.
What the fuck? I think that's the tree. The tree you gotta... I don't know, dude. Okay, so you got Iridikron and Galakrond as possible final bosses. You know? And I already laid out my 10.2.5. My 10.2.5 is the dragons uniting. Viernoth, Nether Drakes, Storm Drakes, all of them, everybody together, Dragon Power, Mother Oathstone. And then, yeah, that leads into an Iridikron or Galakrond fight. One of those two. Then we get into my fringe theories, or fringe-er theories. They're not really mine, but people talked about Odin, I think Odin could come in. I would love to fight Odin. Maybe soup him up with something. But then, for my fringe theories, you got Murazan, timey-wimey, switcheroo, tricking us. Norsdormu switches Rue back on him, and we have a timey-wimey raid. Would be cool. And then my fringe theory, Ragnaros is back, and we have the Elemental Lords as the final boss. All of them, council style. I think that'd be cool. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.